This is why I came here, why I wanted to see you. Something happened last night, something that you ought to know about.
Come sit down.
Thank you.
Did you come up from Guildford this morning?
Yes, I drove up.
Now, just relax and tell me what this is all about. Take your time.
Well, I haven't been sleeping very well, not for several nights now.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
I wake up early in the morning, very early, usually about 3 o'clock. Sometimes I read, sometimes I get up, make myself a cup of tea. This morning, I woke a little later than usual, about 3:45. I went into the kitchen and was about to switch on the kettle when I heard what sounded like a car drawing up outside. I looked out of the window and, sure enough, there was a car parked near the house next door. Your father's house. I stood watching it for a little while and then, to my amazement, a boy climbed out of the back of the car. He was wearing a blazer and was carrying what looked to me like a bag or a parcel of some kind. He walked up the drive, limping slightly, unlocked the front door and let himself into the house.
Into Pennymore?
Yes.
A boy?
Yes, a boy of about 11 or 12.
And this happened at 3:45 this morning?
Yes.
Are you sure it was a boy you saw?
Oh, I'm quite sure. I stood for a while, watching the house, and then suddenly the boy reappeared, climbed into the back of the car, and the car drove away.
Who's driving?
Well, I'm pretty sure it was a girl, but it's still fairly dark at that time of the morning.
Well, we saw the boy quite clearly.
Oh, yes, quite clearly. Well, I was bewildered. I didn't know what to do. You see, your father had made a point of telling me there were only 2 spare keys in existence, yours and the one he gave me. In fact, he emphasized, in the nicest possible way, that he didn't want anybody other than you or me to go into the house. Well, in the end, I decided the most sensible thing to do was to find out if the boy had actually taken anything. I went all over the house, Mr. Harvey. I looked in every room. So far as I could see, there was nothing missing and nothing had been disturbed. Then, just as I was about to leave, I saw this carrier. I don't know why I didn't see it in the first place. I must have walked past it just before I switched the hall light on.
And you think that the boy put it there?
Oh, I'm sure he did. I'm sure that this is what he was carrying.
Marius of Rye. You realise that was the name on the van in which my parents were found murdered?
Yes, I know. I realized that as soon as I saw it.
Was there anything in the carrier?
Oh, yes, there's a folder with some sketches in it.
Sketches?
Drawings. Rather nice ones. I think they're very good, don't you?
Yes. Yes, I do. I take it you've never seen these before?
Oh, no, never. Well, I don't understand it.
You say the boy was about 12?
Or 11 or 12.
And had a slight limp?
Yes.
Have you told anyone else about this, about what happened this morning?
Oh, no, you're the only person who knows about it.
Do me a favour, please, Margaret. Don't mention this to anyone else.
If that's what you want. No, of course I won't.
I'd like you to answer 1 or 2 questions, if you don't mind. They might seem unimportant to you, even irrelevant.
Oh,
but,
please, ask anything you like.
Does the name Bradford Brothers mean anything to you?
Bradford Brothers? No, who are they?
They're a car rental firm in Hammersmith. My father used them from time to time.
No, I'm sorry, I'd never heard of them.
A girl called Jill Foster works for Bradford Brothers. It was Miss Foster who drove us to the airport.
Jill Foster?
You never heard of her?
No, I'm sorry. I'm afraid I'm not being very helpful.
No, that's all right, not to worry. Now, tell me, did you ever see anything or hear anything when you were with my parents that puzzled you in any way?
Puzzled me?
Or aroused your curiosity?
No.
You're sure?
Yes, I'm quite sure. Oh, there was one small incident.
Well, tell me about it.
Oh, really, it was nothing.
Please tell me about it.
It's to do with my husband. You've never met Walter, so it's very difficult for me to... Well, about 3 months ago, Walter came to see me. There'd been an argument about money, about a joint bank account that we both... Well, anyway. Just as he was leaving, we saw your father standing outside Pennymore. He was apparently saying goodbye to a friend of his. Now, I'd never seen the man before, but Walter obviously recognized him. When I asked Walter if he knew the man, he snapped, "Yes, I know him, and his bitch of a wife." Well, later, just out of curiosity, I asked your father who his friend was, but he didn't tell me. He was terribly evasive, which was quite unlike Jason.
You said just now that I'd never met your husband.
Yes.
Well, I have met him. He came to see me.
Walter did.
Yes.
Why on earth should Walter want to see you? Oh, my God, I know why. He warned you, didn't he? He warned you against me. I don't know what he said. I don't know what the bastard dreamed up, but I bet you every penny I've got that's what happened. I'm right, aren't I? I'm right, aren't I, Sam?
Yes, you're right, Margaret.
That always happens. Every time. Never fails. The moment I make friends, become fond of someone, he even tried to turn your mother and father against me.
Why should he want to do that?
Because he's Walter. That's why.
We'll discuss Joe Foster later. I want to hear your version of what happened yesterday afternoon.
Didn't Harris tell you what happened?
Harris did tell me, yes, but I want to hear your version.
I went to get the evening papers. I was away about 20 minutes, perhaps a little longer. When I got back, I found Harris on the floor of my flat, apparently recovering from a blow on the head. It appears that when he arrived, he found the front door partly open. Couldn't make anyone hear, so he went in and was promptly clobbered.
Was anything taken?
No, I don't think so. The flat had been searched, but so far I haven't missed anything.
Harris seems to think he was looking for something.
Well, yes, that's my impression.
Have you any idea who the man was?
No, I haven't.
So you don't know if he found something or not?
No, I'm afraid I don't. How is Harris, by the way?
Well, he's in the office, but he's a bit shaken, of course. Sam, do you think this incident is related to the Marius O'Rye affair? Or do you think it's just an ordinary break-in we shouldn't worry too much about?
I hardly think it's an ordinary break-in. And if it was, why didn't he help himself to something?
Harris disturbed him. He just got the hell out of it.
Yes, it's possible, I suppose. Anyway, tell me about Miss Foster. What have you come up with?
Her full name is Jill Lucy Foster. She's an only child. Both her parents died when she was 13. She was brought up by an aunt and uncle, Mr. and Mrs. Tedworth. They live in Ipswich. She left home when she was 17. For a time, she shared a flat with a girl called Rachel Dawson, and she now lives on her own. She's had 4 jobs since she's been in London, all with garages or car hire firms. According to Miss Dawson, she's mad on cars. Apparently, her one ambition in life is to drive in the Monte Carlo Rally.
Let's hope she makes it. Boyfriends?
She doesn't seem to have any. As far as I can make out, she's in love with her XJ6 Jaguar.
How on earth can she afford to run a Jag?
I don't know. Apparently she does. She's been with Bradford Brothers just over 4 months.
That's all the information you've got on her?
No, not quite all. 2 years ago, she was arrested for shoplifting.
Shoplifting?
Usual Oxford Street story. She walked into one of the big stores and helped herself to 50 quid's worth of stuff.
I don't know why, but I find that very difficult to believe.
There it is. There are the details.
Did she deny the charge?
No, vehemently. But she didn't get away with it. They gave her 6 months suspended sentence. Come in.
Excuse me, sir. Mr. Corby's arrived.
Corby?
Yes, sir. He has an appointment.
Who made the appointment?
Why, you did, sir. He telephoned last night, sir, just as you were leaving. Insisted on
Oh, that
speaking to
fellow,
you
yes,
first.
yes, I remember. Send him in.
Right, sir.
Now, this fellow might be a bit of a nut. My God, I had my share of nut cases in the last 24 hours. I had 22 calls yesterday morning from people who said they'd seen the name Marius O'Rye. One fellow said he'd even seen it on a hearse. Sorry, sir. All damn time wasted.
Yeah, what did this man Corby have to say?
Well, he phoned me last night just when I was going to a meeting. Said he had some information about the Marius Rye affair. Wanted to talk to me about it.
What information?
Well, he wouldn't talk on the phone. Just as I was hanging up, he said, I'm not a crank, if that's what you're thinking, Superintendent, which is precisely what I was thinking. Ah, Mr. Corby.
That's right, sir. Leo Corby.
Well, I'm Chief Superintendent Sinclair. This is Detective Superintendent Harvey.
Ah, yes, I know who this gentleman is. I've seen his picture often enough recently. I'm very glad you're here, sir, because I think I may have the answer to a question you must surely have been asking yourself during these past few days.
Well, I've been asking myself a lot of questions during the last few days. Which one of you have got in mind?
I'm referring to your mother and father, sir.
Well, I rather imagined you would.
And what happened to them when you took your leave of them at London Airport?
Do you know what happened to them?
Yes, I think I do. In fact, I'm sure I do. They were picked up by someone.
What, at the airport?
Yes.
Did you see them being picked up?
No. Well, yes. Well, sort of.
Please, sit down, Mr. Corby. Would you?
Thank you.
Now, supposing you tell us all you know about Mr. and Mrs. Harvey.
Oh, I don't know anything about them. Oh, except what I read in the newspapers. In fact, to be honest, I wouldn't be here now if it wasn't for my wife.
Your wife?
Yes, it was Betty, that's my wife, who made me telephone you. If I'd had my way, I'd simply have taken the film back to the shop and played hell with them.
Film?
What film are you talking about? What is this film?
It's a film of your mother and father, sir,
My mother and father?
leaving London Airport.
Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure.
Who took this film?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Well, of course I don't know.
How did you come by the film?
Well, by mistake. The idiot in the camera shop. Look, I don't know about you two, but I'm a very busy man. I can't afford to waste time like this. Before we go any further, don't you think you ought to take a look at this film?
Oh, I do. Mr. Corby, indeed, I do, yes.
Can't you get it in focus, Hunter?
It is in focus, sir.
Is that the Foster girl?
Yes, that's Jill Foster.
Thank you very much for bringing us the film, Mr. Corby. Now, tell us all about it. You said it was given to you by mistake.
Yes. You see, I deal with a camera shop called Surrey Snapshots. It's run by a chap called Naylor. Whether he owns it or not, I wouldn't know.
And whereabouts is this camera shop?
In Shepperton. Now, about a week ago, I asked Naylor to develop a film for me, a film I'd taken on holiday.
Where on holiday?
In Spain. About 10 days ago, the wife and I returned from the Costa del Sol. Oh, Costa del Sol, you can say that again.
Go on, Mr. Corby.
Well, yesterday morning, I popped into the camera shop, and Naylor, the idiot, said my film was ready and gave me the film you've just seen. Well, of course, when I got back home and showed it, the wife practically passed out with excitement. You see, she'd seen pictures in the newspapers of your mother and father, and of course she recognized them right away.
Yes. Was anybody else with you when you showed this film?
No, only the wife. And she insisted that I get in touch with Scotland Yard.
Well, you have a very sensible wife.
So they tell me.
You say you always deal with the same camera shop.
Yes.
What exactly is the procedure?
Procedure? What do you mean?
Just what I said. What exactly is the procedure when you take your film into this, Mr. Naylor, did you say his name was?
He tells me when it'll be ready, and I pick it up. That's the procedure.
But doesn't he give you a ticket? Is there no means of identifying your film?
No. He used to give me a ticket. Doesn't seem to bother nowadays. Not with me, anyhow. I don't know about his other customers.
What does this Mr. Naylor look like? I mean, describe it.
Well, he's in his 30s, I suppose. Got a damn silly moustache, which makes him look a little bit older. Doesn't have a lot to say for himself. He bought a table from me about a year ago. Paid the asking price, too. Didn't try to knock me down at all.
He bought a table from you?
Yes, I'm an antique dealer. Well, that's what the wife calls it, anyhow. Second-hand furniture, really. Second-hand furniture and bric-a-brac, you know, the sort of thing.
Yeah.
I've got 2 shops, one in Weybridge and one in Addleston. Which reminds me, I should be in one of them right now.
Yes, well, we won't detain you any longer, Mr. Corby, and we're very grateful for you coming along. Now, this is what I want you to do during the next few days. Firstly, neither you or your wife must mention this film to anyone, you understand? Secondly, keep well away from the camera show. Don't contact Mr. Naylor under any circumstances.
Well, supposing he contacts me, supposing he realizes his mistake and wants his film back.
Well, in that case, tell him you've been too busy to even look at the film and you'll drop it in sometime. But do absolutely nothing.
Very well, if that's what you want.
Yes, that's what we want, Mr. Corby.
Ah, but what about my own film?
Oh, you'll get your film back, I promise you. And thank you very much, sir, for coming in. Hunter, show Mr. Corby upstairs, will you,
Right,
please?
sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Well, that's one for the book.
Where on earth did that film come from?
And who took it?
We don't know who took it, and we don't know why. That girl could put us in the picture, if only she'd talk. Harris, check on this Naylor fella. Then get in touch with Hammersmith. Tell them to contact Bradford Brothers. I want Jill Foster in your office at 4 o'clock.
Right, sir. Mr. Naylor,
Yes?
I'm Detective Superintendent Harris, and this is Detective Sergeant Mitchell. We're from Scotland Yard.
I'm Arthur Naylor from Shepperton. What can I do for you?
Well, I understand a customer of yours, a Mr. Leo Corby, called in here yesterday morning and collected a film from you.
That's quite right, he did, yes.
A 16mm cine film in colour.
Correct.
We'd like you to tell us everything you know about that film, Mr. Naylor.
Everything I know? Well, that won't be difficult. I don't know anything, except that Mr. Corby brought the film in here to be developed, and I sent it off.
And where did you send it?
To the lab in Hemel Hempstead.
And when?
When?
Oh, yes, when did you send it to Hemel Hempstead?
Oh, it went off, a week today.
And when was it returned?
Day before yesterday. What's all this about?
How many films did you send off to Hemel Hempstead on that particular day?
You mean cine films?
Yes.
Mr. Corby's was the only one.
You sure of that?
I'm absolutely sure. We don't get much call for cine work nowadays. Don't know why. Too expensive, I suppose.
So when the lab returned to Cinefilm, you took it for granted it was Mr. Corby's?
Of course. Wasn't it his film?
No, I'm afraid it wasn't. The lab made a mistake and sent you the wrong film.
You mean the film I gave Mr. Corby wasn't his?
That's exactly what I mean.
Well, I'm very sorry about this. Very sorry indeed. I've never known that to happen before. You see, I only sent the one film off, so naturally Wait a minute. Did Mr. Corby report this matter to the police?
Yes.
Good heavens above, why on earth do that? Why not just return the film to me and ask me to get in touch with the lab?
He had a reason. Well, I can see you've got your hands full there, Mr. Naylor. So we won't take up any more of your time.
You did well, my friend. Full marks.
What happens if they come back?
Play it cool and use your imagination.
What's happening, Larry?
It's okay.
He's out?
Yeah.
Don't turn the place upside down. It'll only make him more suspicious.
I'll see you back at the flat.
Second, John. Anything I can do for you, gentlemen?
I'm Detective Sergeant Halford, sir, CID. I understand you've got a Miss Foster, Miss Jill Foster, in your employ?
That's correct. She's one of our drivers. She's in Brighton at the moment.
When will she be back, sir?
Difficult to say. I would guess at about 6 o'clock. No, perhaps even later. Anything I can do, Sergeant?
No, I don't think there is. Thank you, sir.
Sorry about that, John. Listen, the charge is 4587. Have another look, ring me back, will you? Are you all right?
Yes.
You only just made it.
I know.
Well, not to worry. I'll take care of everything.
Do you mean that, Peter?
I'll see you tonight, 8 o'clock.
I'll be there.
It won't be like last time, I hope.
No. No, it won't be like last time.
Well, take care. Don't do anything stupid.
Right, I'm getting out of here.
What the hell do you want?
This must be my lucky day. I was on my way to see you.
Get out.
Keep going, you're holding up the traffic.
You heard what I said. Get out of this car.
You heard what I said. Keep going. Sit down.
Now, perhaps you'll tell me what this is all about. I have an appointment at 5 o'clock.
You have an appointment now with me. I want to know exactly what happened after you picked up my parents at the airport.
After I picked them up at the airport?
Yes.
What are you talking about? I drove your mother and father to the airport. You were with us.
Later in the day, you picked them up and you took them somewhere else. I want to know why you did that and where you took them.
The last time I saw your parents was when I dropped them at Heathrow.
That's not true. Sometime later, just how much later I don't know, you went back to the airport and you picked them up.
I did?
Oh, yes.
You're crazy. You must be out of your mind.
When you returned to the airport, you were driving a blue Jaguar, registration number XUU851R.
Who told you that?
Nobody told me. I saw you.
You saw me?
Yes.
You mean you were at the airport?
No, I wasn't at the airport. Somebody took a film of you, a cine film, which I've seen.
Who took this film?
I don't know.
But you've seen it?
Oh, yes.
Where did you see it?
Scotland Yard. It was delivered to a colleague of mine.
Oh, God.
Where did you take my mother and father?
I daren't tell you.
You've got to tell me. If you don't, you're going to be in trouble, real trouble. Where did you take them?
to a house outside London.
Where outside London?
I'm sorry, I can't remember where.
Why did you take them there?
I was told to. I had instructions.
From whom?
A man telephoned me. He told me to take them to that particular house because that was where the van would be.
The van with Marius of Rye on it?
Yes.
Who was this man?
I'm sorry, I can't tell you. I've said too much already.
You said just now that you were in trouble.
I am in trouble. Deep trouble.
Then listen to me. If you're prepared to tell me who this man was and where exactly you took my parents, I'll do everything in my power to help you.
I don't think anyone can help me now.
I wouldn't be too sure about that if I were you. Look, I think the best thing we can both do right now is have a drink. And then we'll talk. Okay? Good.